The government cannot solve our agricultural problems alone. We need to play our part in resolving the situation. Take, for example, a startup called Eratani, who is proactive in helping solving our agriculture issues.
That's right, and to find out more about this, we are now connected with Eratani CEO Andrew Soeherman. Good afternoon, Andrew. How are you doing?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Rory, Hilayani, and Kai. I'm great. How are you
Hello.
guys?
We're doing
Great.
fine, so thank you so much for the time and welcome to See the Stories though. So we heard that Eratani provides help for local farmers. What problems typically plague our farmers?
Yes, thank you also for inviting us, right, in this Saya Today News. So, if we talk about the farmers, right, they have the three main problem. The first one is difficulty in getting access to funding. So because our farmers is unbankable, right? So they need somebody to help them to connect with the source of fund. The second one is difficult to access the farming supplies and access the market after sales. So also they need someone to help them to solve this problem also. And the last important thing is difficult to get education. So education is totally very important because we know that the harvest is, if we comparing our harvest with other country harvest, still our harvest is very low. That's why we need to educate our farmers how to make sure their harvest will be maximum comparing to other country.
Now, as
Yeah.
mentioned,
Thank you.
most of the population in Indonesia are working in the agricultural sector. So, what is your opinion about the development of Indonesia's agriculture sector?
Yeah, yes, agree with you guys, right? So Indonesia is the agriculture country. We have 33 million plus of farmers, so very big number of farmers. And the problem is 75% of total farmers is still doing the traditional method. And only technology can help them to solve that three things of problem, right? So we need to help them to solve the problem. That's why we need to build the technology to help them to solve that problem. Yeah, that's why Eratani is there to solve the problem.
Well, speaking of Eratani, this is something that is definitely tickling our interest. Can you tell us more about Eratani and what separates Eratani from other agricultural tech enterprises? As you mentioned these particular problems, in detail before.
Yeah, very simple. We are very focusing on financing the farmers through agri input and help them to selling the agri output, right? Because we know that they are unbankable. That's why we are there to help them to connect with the source of fund. And the second one, we help them to provide all the plan of purchase, all their needs. And the last one is we help them to absorb the harvest and we help them to find the market to sell all the harvest with the good price as the market price.
Right. So, Andrew, there's a process in farming that farmers have to sell their commodities through middlemen, and they get unfair prices, right? Because the middlemen, at the end of the day, they control the price. They seek profit, and farmers, unfortunately, have the smallest gain from the commodity that they produce. How do you, close this gap to make sure that most of the profit goes to the farmers, that they're the ones who work really, really hard to produce these commodities? How to make sure that kind of fairness, and how do you explain in detail about Eratani's works to help farmers?
Okay, the first one, right, we help them to connect with the source of fund. But the problem is our farmers don't have capability to manage the money. That's why before the money approved from the source of fund, we already help them to set up the plan of purchase. What farmers needs from starting the land until harvest.
All right.
Then after the money approved, Eratani will be the sole distributor of all the agri input they need, right? So we help them how to manage the plan of purchase, how to manage the money also. And the last one is about the middleman, right? We don't cut the middleman. We still collaborate with the middleman, right? Because they are also, some of the middlemen is also the farmers. And regarding the price, we can use the national price for our commodity, right, as the barometer when they want to absorb the harvest. So it's totally fair and clear. So we don't need, we believe that middlemen sometimes don't have the farmers, but they create the problem. Then we educate them, we discuss with them, we have the engagement team, and to make sure that how the farmers will get the great price from Eratani. Thank you.
Now, Eratani, so I guess correct me if I'm wrong. So Eratani aims to be a platform which supports farmers in their enterprise. But how do you approach and help farmers in remote areas?
Yeah, for sure that we should have the team, right, in remote areas to acquiring the farmers group or farmers. Then we should have the team. The team, the one who live in that area. Local insight is very important, right? We need to know the local insight in that area. That's why we need the people in that area to help us to discuss with the farmers. And the most important thing is we have the farmers engagement community team to make sure that our Eratani relationship with the farmers will work very closely. We have the Kopdera, right, Kopdar from the Eratani to make sure that we maintain the relationship with the farmers in the rural area. So we have the team to help us to control in that area.
So now my next question would be, you have, a team to engage the local farmers, right? We know that the biggest challenge is that most of them are pretty much less literal when it comes to technologies and application or access to technology. How does Eratani solve this problem? And out of curiosity, could you share with us some numbers? How many farmers have you approached and how much social impact are we looking at from Eratani at this moment in time?
Okay, so regarding how to transform the traditional farmers to become the digitized farmers, for sure we need to have the farmers engagement team support. Yeah, when we did or do the Kopdar with the Petani, right? Then we can help them, we can educate them. Yeah, also we learn from other startup also, right? How they transform the traditional stuff to become the organized stuff also. So this is very important to have the engagement team to make sure we successfully transform the farmers.
Right. So, Andrew, to be honest with you, this is the first time I heard about Eratani, but I heard many farming-related startups, also companies beforehand, and this came to my surprise that your company just received funds as much as 23 billion rupiah. This is, so big from Three Hill Capital. What is your plan in using this money? Because many startups that I know, they would use the money from investors to, using the method of burning money, right? For promotion, for bonuses, for incentives, for new acquisition users. What are you gonna do with the money?
Okay, the first one, I want to make sure that Eratani is not the burning company, right? So we don't do the B2C market, but we only do the B2B market. So I just want to state it and vote that we don't burn the money. And what's for this 23 billion? The first one, if you want to build the very strong organization, you should have the great talent to support us, to make sure every strategy and the execution is running well, right? So that's why recruit the potential talent is the first concern. And the second or the last concern is, if we want to transform our traditional farmers, right, we need to build the strong tech, right? We need to have the support from technology side. That's why we also will make sure that our technology works, because our user is farmers. Only Eratani build the business and connect directly to the farmers. We start from the upstream, not from the middle stream or from the downstream. That's why we need to create the tech to support our farmers. We know 90% of our farmers already 45 years above. And imagine 20 years ahead, we will have no farmers if we don't transform and we don't create the millennial farmers using this tech.
So it is very interesting because the millennial farmers will very much be, how do you say it? Will very much be attracted to, the tech use and application, and of course, more practical uses of having access to a lot of things. So my question would be, what are the numbers, your user numbers? How many farmers have you now approached, and perhaps what is your opinion regarding Indonesia's agricultural potential that you can also tap in the future?
Yeah, we have 33 million plus farmers. We only tap in 10K farmers currently. Still very big market. Imagine if you already have 300K farmers, still even that is below 1% from our total farmers. But the main concern is our total farmers even is already 45 years above. Then creating the millennial farmers is our concern. That's why we facilitate this, right? We help them to connect with the financing through agri input and help them to selling the agri output also. Back to you, Kai.
It's like a report with you, It's a lot of fun. Maybe you should be our agricultural correspondent. That's right. But Andrew, thank you so much for your time and all the success to Eratani. You've already touched at least 10K amount of farmers in Indonesia, and I hope you get to tap in a lot more because it is a challenge, right? To be sustainable, not only to teach literacy, technological literacy.
Exactly. Especially about financial literacy for farmers.
To a generation that is already so used to what they've been doing. Hopefully the millennial tani or millennial farmers will be attracted to what you have to offer.
All right.
Cool.
Thank you so much, Andrew.
All right, see the stories will continue after the break, guys, so don't go anywhere.